Chief Beck and his schedule, I'd like to give you the opportunity, Chief, to give comments that you'd like to make on the GCP funding right now.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Councilman, thank you for allowing me to briefly speak. I will say this, that my comment, and that I have ensured that I have my bureau chiefs here, who you are all very familiar with, who can work with you during the rest of your inquiry to make sure you understand how important this program is to the Los Angeles Police Department. The Gang Reduction and Youth Development Department is a core piece of our strategies to save lives in Los Angeles. As you well know, gang crime accounts citywide for about 60% of our homicides and about 25% of our violent crime. And really, one of the cornerstones in the success of the city of Los Angeles in dealing with that has been the collaboration between the police department and the GRYD office. The way that we use the intervention and prevention programs within the GRYD office and their integration into the efforts of the police department have made a huge difference in Los Angeles. And while gang crime throughout the nation has increased, in Los Angeles it has plummeted. And most police chiefs would sit here and tell you it's because of good policing, and I will say that we do policing well, but it's also through collaboration of the intervention and prevention programs run out of the GRYD office, and we could not have achieved the success that we have without that. This is Los Angeles is the home to criminal street gangs in America. We have been since the 70s. We export gangs all over the world. You name the major criminal street gangs in America, the Bloods, the Crips, 18th Street, MS, all originated in the city of Los Angeles. And that is an awful label for this great city to have. And what I would like to see is that now, because of the things that we do with smart law enforcement and with effective intervention and with solid prevention programs, that we become known as a place that is the home of the solution to gang crime. And I encourage the council to do what it can, and I know these are tough times, and it's hard to pick between your children, and it's hard to pick between your departments, but the GRYD office is extremely important to what I do. So I just wanted to make that known, put that forward. Thank you for your consideration of this. This is, one of the shining things that the city does right, and it's important that we maintain it. So thank you, and I'll have my staff will be here. I know that you will go through your regular presentation, and as needed, if you need comments from them, they'll be glad to provide them. So.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you very much. I think if you do have a minute, I think Mr. Rosendahl wanted to pose a question now.
Absolutely.
If you can still stay for a minute.
Councilman.
Chief, I want to thank you for your leadership with the overall LAPD and for giving me Captain Peters on that area there. That has been phenomenal in all the issues we're dealing with, and I appreciate your backing him and backing me and us working together as a team.
So thank you, Councilman. Captain, and I've said it from the day I got this job, it's my goal to give all of you captains that you know, that are consistent within their commands, that you have relationships with, and why I appreciate that so much, because their jobs are so hard. Those area captains, that's the hardest job in the police department, and to be recognized by their council people is significant. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, and he's accessible and he talks to people, and that kind of leadership is extraordinary, and I'm most grateful. But I have some real questions about, and Guillermo, God bless you too. You've been extremely helpful as I've been running around. But my district has a history of gangs and gang violence.
Mr. Rosendahl, if I may, just so that all members know, we still have not yet heard the presentation on GCP or from the department head. So if you have questions that are specific to Chief Beck, that's great. But we will have all these discussions after the presentation and with the rest of the department brass, who's also here as well. So by all means, I'm sure the chief would be happy to hear any questions that are specific to the chief, but we'll have a more thorough discussion after the presentation.
And I look forward to that. But you and I both know the issues I have in Venice in part are gang related. So I'm hoping that we can get the support so you and I can continue to deal with the drippings of the gangs that for the most part aren't discussed in CD11, but in reality they do exist. So thank you.
Oh no, absolutely. You know, this is this allows us to address not only the symptoms of gang crime, but the root causes, and that's what's really important. And that's why GRYD is such a great program. It allows us to move from where we just chase crime to where we actually start to diminish the gang violence problem in Los Angeles. So thank you all very much, and Councilman, thank you so much for allowing me to go first.
Yes, sorry. I'm sorry. Mr. Cardenas also had one question.
Chief, I'll be brief. I just want to let everybody know who's watching and who's here. It just so happens that when before you became the chief, you were an assistant chief, you actually were the point person for the department to report to the city council, and were very much involved in the during the time that the mayor's office and the council developed what we now call the GRYD program. So I just want to thank you for your knowledge and your leadership on this, but also my question to you before you get back to your other duties is, can you repeat what you told us several times very organically when we asked you how intervention workers / intervention activity assists the police department in reducing violence? I remember one time you were in committee and you apprised us of 2 separate incidents. I think one incident actually it was gang related, where there was an initial shooting, and as a result of that, were there like 17 incidents of subsequent shootings because of that. And then where the intervention workers were involved in a subsequent event unrelated, you recounted to us the difference between 17 subsequent shootings and how many shootings in the other incidents where intervention workers were involved.
And that, you know, I'm glad you reminded me of that, Councilman, because that is the core of all this. You know, in the past, the police have taken responsibility for not only what has occurred in the past, but for what occurs in the future, and that is just not effective. The reality is that when a gang shooting occurs now, and it comes into my communications center, then it goes to Racer, which you're all familiar with, and then the information broadcast goes out citywide so that the captain, whoever it is, can have adequate resources respond. At the same time that happens, the information goes out to the GRYD office and the intervention workers that are in that neighborhood, and they also respond. But both entities respond for 2 separate reasons, and this is really important. We both want to get to the same place, lack of violence, but we come at it from 2 different ways. The police department, we're there to keep the peace, to solve the crime that has occurred. The GRYD office is there to stop the next one. And that is hugely different. And it is a thing that has absolutely changed the way that shootings occur gang shootings occur in Los Angeles. In the past, as you recounted, we would have incidents that spawned 15, 20 retaliatory back and forth shootings. Since the initiation of the GRYD office, if I have one retaliatory shooting, I'm on the phone to the captain to find out what's wrong. You know, the goal of all this, we know how difficult it is to stop these conflicts from becoming violent. The point is, the GRYD office, with its intervention aspect, finally gives us a chance to stop it at one. And with the prevention aspect, you know, there are other programs to actually get at the core and maybe eliminate the violence altogether. So it's a great partnership, because there's the Los Angeles Police Department, and this is, I'm speaking about my family here, so it's a little hard for me to be modest, but they are the best in the world at what we do. But the GRYD office adds a whole other dimension.
So my last point, Mr. Chairman, is this. So Chief Beck, obviously you're looking at policymakers, and we have to grapple with the budget and the difficult decisions, et cetera, as you very well eloquently pointed out. So would you agree that if we were to have to pull back on the commitment and the resources for the GRYD program, that would be very, not only painful, but actually would be a step in the wrong direction?
Well, it will have a negative impact on public safety in Los Angeles, and the GRYD office, like the police department, affects the very top end of the pyramid of violent crime, homicide. And homicide and shootings are reduced because of the GRYD office. Less young people die in Los Angeles because of the work that they do.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you.
All right, Chief, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Members, this area is GCP funding, General City Purposes funding as a whole, and